what we're going to do is, okay, for the people that don't know me, my name is Dr. Isailer, and I work here usually in the research as a clinical researcher, but my passion is also raw food, and so I am raw vegan since 4 years approximately. That means I don't cook my food, I don't really process it much, so I don't heat it over 105, is it? And yeah, so today I will show you some brunch ideas, what you can make for a brunch. So something sweet maybe, and like an oatmeal, some sauces and dips and crackers. Yeah, so.
And you said 105, is that like the point where it changes?
Yeah, the enzymes, they could get destroyed.
Okay.
There's a few enzymes that are more heat resistant, but yeah, you want to keep the enzymes, the vitamins intact. So if you heat it, then you also give the chemicals energy so they can react with each other, and you get a different product. That's what happens if you cook potatoes, the starches and the fiber, it just changes chemistry.
Yeah, I didn't know what the magic number was.
How many years did you say you've been doing
4.
this?
4?
Yeah. So processing, I mean, blending is processing, but I see it more like chewing, and not, it doesn't change the chemistry much.
Okay.
Just the cells get chewed up through blending. What I like to use is a blender and a food processor kind of thing. This is called a food chopper. It's similar like a food processor. So today we are going to make something sweet. So I have some sprouts here. Let's start with a dessert or sweets or breakfast type today. So I have sprouted oats. And what you need for sprouting is simply a jar. And if you have it, you can buy it on Amazon. This is a sprouting lid. It's called a sprouting lid. It's the band for a normal mason jar, but it's stainless steel, so it will not rust. And then the lid is just a strainer. So it's really, really handy. So you soak your nuts and seeds overnight in water. So overnight you soak it in water, then you drain it, and then you rinse it with fresh water. You drain it again, and you can keep it upside down on a plate. If you don't, well, if you have it a little bit fancier, there are also some plates extra for sprouting, because you don't want to put it in like this. So it needs to be a little bit tilted so you have air coming in and it's draining very well. So we have sprouted oats, and those are oat groats. They are also not heat treated. Most oat groats are heat treated. Those are not heat treated, and you can find them, for example, at sproutpeople.org. It's a really nice site. They have a variety of sprouts, and they also give you instructions how you sprout those seeds that they have there.
How long can you keep them once they're in that?
Once they're like this, so I sprout them at room temperature, and if they have the size that I want, I keep them in the fridge for maybe 3 days. They'll be good for 3 days. And then I also have quinoa and amaranth. I just mixed quinoa and amaranth together. I got the seeds also from the sproutpeople.org, and they sprout. So usually you buy seeds at the grocery and they don't really sprout because they're heat treated, so they're pretty much dead. So I have here a mixture of quinoa and.
So when you say sprout, you mean if you plant those, they'll grow? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So I soak them in water, and that activates the seeds, and they start to grow. If you would plant them, they would grow plants, especially those oats. And sometimes the seeds are a little bit damaged, so they're not nice plants, but those are good. And then I also soaked some sunflower seeds yesterday. They kind of starting to sprout, but they will not develop a nice green because they don't come with the shell. The greens you want, so if you want to grow sunflower greens, you you want the ones with the shell. Those are just soaked, and so we can use them for our sauces and dips. And then I also have sesame seeds. Sesame seeds I never found raw, truly, but sproutpeople.org they have really nice sesame seeds. So they take a little bit longer for sprouting. Usually it takes only 1 or 2 days for sprouting. Those take maybe a little bit longer, maybe 1 day more. The thing is, so I didn't sprout them very long, just a day or two. The thing is with sesame seeds, they turn more strong in flavor and they turn a little bit bitter. So it depends on you what you prefer. If you want to have a little stronger flavor, then you should always taste your sprouts at what point you like them. And then I have also garbanzo beans or chickpeas. I just soaked them 2 days ago, so they take a little bit longer. So you could let them grow a little bit longer since they have a little tail here. So if you have a tail here,
Yeah, I
so,
can see. Oh, okay.
so you
Sound like
could
old potatoes.
you could let them sprout a little bit longer, but you can eat them at this point already too.
So do you sprout all of your beans, seeds, nuts, grains, everything?
Pretty much, yeah. And yeah, as I said, so you need a mason jar, sprouting lid, or if you don't have a sprouting lid and you want to start right away and see what happens, you can also just use a strainer. I use that for the chickpeas because they don't have a small sprouting lid. So you would rinse them, and then if you drain them, you would just, I don't have a sink here, so this is my sink. And then you would just drain them like this. You have to wash or rinse your sprouts 2 times per day at least. If you want to keep them like that and not upside down, you might want to rinse them and
Why do you have to?
because they're wet and everything that's wet on room temperature, it can grow bacteria and can spoil. So you always want to rinse away bacteria that develops. I mean, bacteria is everywhere. If we could see the germs, then we would
wouldn't do
freak out.
anything.
But that's not a problem because they're part of us. We are just mostly germs, you know. So good that we don't see them.
And you said you store them in the refrigerator while they're sprouting and then you rinse them?
No, while they're sprouting, I don't store them in the refrigerator. I store them when I see, okay, that's as big as I want them, so then I put them in the fridge. And then I don't have to rinse them all the time, I just put them in the fridge and I don't have to rinse them. Just when you keep them at room temperature, you want to wash away the bacteria. Okay, so, and then what else we can do for our brunch kind of ideas? We can do guacamole, hummus, so that's those vegetables are for. But I like to start with the more sweet first. So I'm gonna make an oatmeal out of the oats, the sprouted oats. I start with sweet first because if I use the blender for something sweet or the chopper for something sweet, then it doesn't matter if I have it in my savory dishes, but I don't want to have any savory flavor in my sweet dishes, so any onions or something. So, oh, did I forget to tell you about the Tigernuts? I also soaked some Tigernuts. We'll sprout them. I don't have a lot of mason jars and sprouting it, so I use that method too with a strainer. So those are actually not nuts. They're a tuber from the sage family, so Tigernuts. Tigernuts. This is like it looks like a grass like this, and then underneath the roots they have these little tubers like potatoes. But it looks like a grass, and yeah, those are actually really nice. They are low in fat. They don't have any nut. They are not nuts, so they don't have really fat. High in resistant starch, prebiotic, and they taste sweet and nice. So I'm gonna use those too. A few sprouted. They're very gritty, so especially if they're not soaked. If they're soaked, they're still kind of gritty, but I like them. It's my popcorn replacement. I love popcorn and those are great. Okay, so I start with that in my food chopper and then I just pulverize them.
What is the other name for those as nuts?
Chufas. They also call them
Don't they
chufas.
serve them here?
These?
Yeah.
Oh no, you mean the filberts, the hazelnuts?
Yeah, okay. It looked
No,
like a hazelnut.
They
Okay.
do look like hazelnuts, but they are not.
Okay.
No, they're very low in fat. They don't have any. There are no nuts. They're like potatoes, tubers. They're called. It's gonna be a little bit loud. I'm just gonna chop those up. What one? Or maybe someone wants to try one. We can share. No, it doesn't make any sense, right? We have to do a lottery. Oh yeah, and the Tigernuts I get from Gemini. It's the brand where I get the Tigernuts from. And they are very raw, so truly raw, and they also sprout. I planted one actually at home, and they
Oh, really?
get these. Okay, pretty much pulverized. Not really, a little bit gritty, but the smell is really great too. These Tigernuts. Maybe I do a little bit more. Okay, I start with the Tigernuts to make them more finer because they're the hardest. And what else am I using? I think I'm using apple. And I also didn't prepare anything for you, so you can actually see what I'm doing and how long it will actually take to make these things just from scratch. And then you'll see it's not that bad to prepare food. I like to use apple actually. Apple is super good for your digestion too. It really is cleansing and has lots of minerals. Doesn't have a lot of sugar if you're concerned about sugar. Although store-bought apples do have a lot of sugar, I find. So I get my apples actually from the farmer's market.
What farm?
More natural.
They got that going on across the street or something. I saw something over there. A bunch of cars parked on the road.
Oh, today?
I didn't know something was going on.
Huh.
I don't know what it
Well, I
was.
think that's the concert. There's a concert there.
Oh, is there?
There's a weekly concert on Saturday.
Oh,
Oh, wow. That's cool.
yeah.
Okay, my apples, I just put them in here. And then also my sprouted oats, right? Here. Also the oats you could sprout a little bit more, but these are good enough. See them how they sprout.
Yeah.
Probably need that.
Yes, sir. Only the front row gets to look.
I'm sorry, I can't wait till we go through. Oh wait, where's mine? My invisible knife. So far I didn't lose it. It's transparent, it's very invisible.
Was that like a cup of oats?
I used dry oats, half a cup. It's always hard to tell if after they're sprouted,
Yeah.
because the sprouts have different size, but I give the dimensions always for dry. So
And how many Tigernuts did you use?
the Tigernuts, I didn't really measure it right now because I was munching on them the last days. But there was soaked you can soak a little bit more and then also munch on them, but right now approximately how much is that? Maybe half a cup or a third of a cup. You can use a little bit less or more because, as I said, the Tigernuts, some people don't really like them because they are chewy and gritty, but I like that. Okay. I don't like to waste things, so. Okay, my oats. What else can we use here? Maybe a few raisins. But the Tigernuts are actually already sweet a little bit, so. But why not? Oh, maybe that's too much. Less. I need some raisins for the sauce. Okay, and then chop everything. Of course, you can use other fruits. I'm actually gonna use other fruits, but not everything chopped in there.
No worries, you're fine.
Okay.
Little chopper is that?
It's called a food chopper. You can get it on Amazon. If you send me an email, so I put my email on there. I can also send you my Amazon link. Amazon list, wish list.
Yeah.
And there's about raw food and kitchen tools and some cleaning products. I think this I'll have public. So I chop this a little bit more. Okay. We still have some pieces. Honestly, you don't really have to chop it necessarily. Because you can eat the oats and everything, even the Tigernuts. One day I wanted to make a puree with chia seeds. Also chia seeds you can use. I forgot the chia seeds actually. That would be to make a.
Did you sprout chia seeds?
I soak them. I don't really sprout them. For sprouting, you have to either plant them on something, a medium, like soil or something else, or you have to rinse them, and they're very, very slimy, and it's kind of a pain. So, but I soak them. I feel like I feel better if I soak them before I eat them. And,
So is that one serving or you just keep it?
well, that depends on you.
Yeah. How hungry you are.
Is this one serving? Or sometimes I eat that. It's 2 apples in here. It's a half a cup of oats. What else? Then the Tigernuts. That's not a lot. Just 2 apples. One person can eat that for sure. He'll be very satisfied after eating this, I would say. But it really depends on you. Yeah, you tell me how much serving is this, so that's how it goes. That's my type of oatmeal. Sounds pretty good. And of course, you can also add some fruits. I don't know how much we can do actually, but we're just gonna continue. I mean, I have a lot of ideas what I would do, but these tiny bananas are really high. They don't make good banana milk though. They turn brown very easy.
What do you put in your banana milk?
The banana milk I make with bananas, but they need to be right. They have to have these spots, the black spots, and just water. Maybe 2 bananas and half cup of water, or it depends how watery you want to have it. If you put more water, it becomes more whitish. If you put less water, it's more thick and creamy. And then you can also pour the banana milk on top of that if you want to. And then I have a mango here. I just want to show you how I make mango. No, I mean how I cut and peel a mango. I just cut it next to the seed. Because mangoes are so delicious, but people don't eat them because it's so messy. And I have that. Usually, sometimes I use my fingers too, but you can use a spoon and just spoon it out. It needs to be a ripe mango, but it always needs to be a ripe mango because otherwise it's not really sweet. Cut it pieces, and that's pretty easy, isn't it?
Just like avocado.
Almost. I also use my fingers, but I thought maybe I use a spoon today. It looks a bit sophisticated.
See, everybody cuts it while it's in the skin sometimes, so it scares me.
Yeah, you can also do it like this if you want to be on the safe side. Okay, this here, don't want to waste anything. But usually if you want to have it even more simple, you just cut a lot of ripe fruits. High quality ripe fruits. And then you don't really have to do a lot with it. So usually for my first meal, I just eat fruits. Anything really. But I don't eat only 1 apple, I eat 5 apples. If I only eat apples, I eat 5 apples.
So you wouldn't necessarily eat this in the morning, you just do fruit in the morning?
I do, yeah, but sometimes I do. I do that too. Maybe I do that in between or as a dessert or anything. So yeah, that's pretty much my finished oatmeal with.
Looks really good.
It's fantastic.
So you can try that later, but well, we still have time. I mean, it just took me pretty much 10 minutes because I was talking 10 minutes and then did this in 10 minutes, right? And everything is very easy to rinse, to clean. You want to clean it right away with water, and then you don't have any problems. We have a little bit of the sweetness of this, some oats, but it's fine for our next step. So what are we going to make now? Maybe just a salsa kind of thing.
You said when you make hummus, you can't use oil in there. How do you get?
No, I don't.
Doesn't hummus normally have oil, a bunch of oil? Or no?
So you can make it without. And I'll do the hummus. Let's do the guacamole first. Okay. My version of guacamole is very simple. It's just avocados. And be careful with these brown spots, they don't taste good. Even if you mix it all under somewhere, but they just don't taste good. You can't make chocolate cream out of black avocados.
Yeah.
Even though you hide the black spots. But I saw that on the internet one day. Someone was very proud of themselves showing these black avocados with all these brown spots in them. Then, oh wow, I made a chocolate cream out of them. So, oh gosh, I was just saying, don't invite me. Let's make 2 avocados. We're hungry today. Who's fasting? Oh, not so many people. No.
You're gonna have customers.
You're gonna have
Don't
taste.
eat all my food.
Taste still hasn't had one.
So we do two 2 avocados then. And yeah, I didn't prepare anything for you here, so it doesn't take much. And for the guacamole, you don't need any machine or anything. You just need nice, ripe, soft avocados. And a fork, pretty much. So I first start with the avocado, and then I munch the avocado first with a fork. You can also use if you want to make a huge batch of guacamole and you want to be a little bit more efficient, you can also just use a potato, what do you call it? Masher. Yeah, potato masher. We'll make it very fast. But you pretty much just use a fork. The avocados need to be soft. If they are too hard, first it will not be tasty. Second, we'll have a hard time to munch it. These are nice and nice and soft. Very simple, so you can put any herbs in here that you want. I like to keep it very simple. But tomatoes is the other very important ingredient. We have these small tomatoes, but they're very. Oh, that's kind of okay. So let's chop the tomatoes. As many tomatoes as you want. I like it with lots of tomatoes. Some people don't like tomatoes at all, so you can leave the tomatoes you know. I think my sister doesn't like it with tomatoes. It's odd. I usually use a lot of tomatoes. And then you also reduce your fat. Another thing is, if you want to even more reduce your fat, you can use celery. Actually, I should have a little bit of celery actually here. Celery actually, if you want to make sauces, anything without salt, it's actually your best friend. And if you want to reduce the fat of your guacamole even more, you can use your food chopper and chop some celery and then mix it also under. And that tastes actually really good. It has more volume, less fat.
That is a lot of tomatoes.
Is it too much for you?
No. That all food looks good, right?
See, if you cut them a little bit finer, it's actually more nicer, right? It's a bit hard with cutting them fine with especially these.
Hey, would you like some salad from
Yeah, if you could. Thank you. Just a little bowl. That would be nice. Or maybe a little bit more. Should I reduce the fat of the guacamole? Maybe with celery, or we can do both.
Why not?
I just give you different options, and at home you can do whatever you want. You can put even garlic in here, but I don't like garlic too much, and onions, but I rarely eat onions. Thank you so much. I'll take a little more. Just the full bowl, yeah. Celery I take a lot. I'll take also two. And I'm not vegetables or putting lots of vegetables in my food. It's like in the past where we had the meat and the cheese, that was our main source of calories. But now we don't have that. We have to replace this with vegetables, so 10 times more vegetables maybe. Thank you.
Better?
Yes.
Wow.
So I could even use the whole thing for this year, but I'm just gonna use half of it. Now I use the machine, the chopper. So it will still be a little bit chunky, but that's totally fine. So we have chopped our celery.
Wow.
And it's not much, so. But let me finish the guacamole first, and then I put one half of it with the celery and one half as it is. So the other very important thing in guacamole is lemon juice or lime juice. We can use lime juice actually. I use at least 2. Let's see how it tastes. This is really important. Otherwise, you want salt.
So is that one preservative?
It is also a good preservative, yes. It keeps the enzymes to, it prevents the enzymes to oxidize the food. What's I gonna say? Yeah, it's just for the taste, for the, if you don't have that, you want to have salt in it. And that's not a lot. I don't know how much. It's like a lot. I don't know, it's hard. So use 1.5. But you can use less or more. The other thing I like, because I don't use any garlic and onions, I like cilantro in my guacamole. Also gives like nice flavor. I know Germans don't like cilantro, but I'm an exception. And we're not in Germany. But you can use some soft leaves of parsley. Sometimes the parsley is a little bit chewy, so you want to be careful not to take the chewy part and chop it very fine. I use the chewy part for sauces. I blend it a little bit finer, but you can also do this dill or any other herb that you like. You can also add chili if you want to. So this is already a finished guacamole with lots of herbs and tomatoes. You want to chop the tomatoes a little bit finer, then it will be also a little bit more tasty.
Normally they would put onions, right?
Yes, you can also use some scallions in it, but
Yeah.
I think the flavor is a little bit too strong. And then, okay, we have this year high fat, well, less fat with the tomatoes and herbs. And this, the other half, we can just do with less fat. So I have part of it this year and then part of the celery. That's quite a lot there. But it's up to you how much you use. So here you can have guacamole and lots of bold and less fat. You want to use your scale. Do we want to add even more of that lime? Yeah, definitely you can use some scallions if you like that. Okay, but how should we eat that? We're not gonna eat this like that. So usually we have tacos or crackers. The raw vegan version of the taco could be jicama. So have your jicama. Let's peel this real quick. I'm very confident not even peeling the jicama before that. But I just want to show you to just do it from scratch and do it all in 1 hour. You still do the hummus.
Do you just use herbs or do you ever use spices like nutmeg?
Oh yeah, I do often use spices.
And that's gonna be your chip replacement.
It's my chip replacement, yeah. You can do a lot of different things. Uh-oh. I mean, if you eat a little bit of the peel, it's not too bad. And to make some nice tacos or chips, you can use a mandolin. It's mandolin, so you can use the different sizes here. And the other thing I like to use when I use the mandolin is a glove that protects my hands. After an accident, I'm not going to do this without it anymore. Okay, and then you just slice it. You can try it at what point you wanna, how thick you wanna have it. So this is like more chips, maybe. And then maybe we make what, like tacos. You have a question?
You asked what vegetable that was.
Oh, that was jicama. We have that too in the cold bar, in the cubes. And I just had the whole thing and peeled it, and then I used the mandolin. So first I use it a little bit thicker, this a little bit thinner, so you actually have, oops, maybe you want to even have it more thin. So see, it will break if it's too thick. So here you have your taco. They actually sell it in the store, but you don't have to buy it in a package. You waste more plastic, and it's not fresh. It just took me a minute to peel that jicama real quick and slice it, so it's very fresh and nice.
Is there a trick to picking the right jicama?
To what?
Like picking a right one? Is there a trick to it or
Oh,
all of it?
it's a root, so it's not really. I mean, it's not. There's no stages of ripeness really with the root. Either it's a little bit smaller or bigger. You want the bigger ones, so it's easier to work with. So either you have these taco shells, or you have the chips like this. So now you can actually taste that. This. It's pretty good. Got one here. I don't have much time to present it so pretty. But you definitely can. put more effort in at home and present it very pretty. So raw taco shells, all taco shells, very easy to make. Okay, the next thing, so let's do the hummus.
Do you have that mandolin at your Amazon page too?
Not this one, I got this from the kitchen, but there is one on my wish list as well. I haven't bought it yet, but I kind of like that, so I didn't buy that one, but it's on the list. Okay, so the hummus, we have the sprouted chickpeas and the sesame. So use the chickpeas, and I also like to use the soaked sunflower seeds. They give more creaminess and less strong
Sorry, what seeds?
sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds.
So sunflower seeds, and how I get them out of there. So usually I just use a little bit of water.
You're not cooking those, right, Dean? Those are just sprouted, the chickpeas.
No, I sprouted the chickpeas.
Can you cook without sprouting?
The chickpeas, no. You don't want to have them raw or hot. Well, you can cook them, of course. Yeah. Usually you do the hummus with cooking. No. And then, but also use the sesame.
Can we talk about the lectin or whatever from the
Yes.
beans that we don't cook?
And then they will get washed away if you sprout them. So that's a nice method to just get the seeds off with the strainer because they're so tiny. So. And then I have it here.
Sorry, what seeds were those?
Those are sesame seeds.
That's-
Instead of tahini, I don't like using anything from a jar. From the industry necessarily.
It's normally in like hummus at all Oats to me, or is there all? I mean, I know there's some flavors, but I don't know about like what's the base ingredient.
The base ingredients are the sprouted chickpeas, so I use half a cup of dry chickpeas. And then I used half a cup of sesame seeds and half a cup of sunflower seeds. And then lots of lemon juice. This is the main ingredient. Main ingredient. I mean, it's a very important ingredient, the lemon juice. I usually always use lemon juice because it gives the flavor, it replaces the salt.
Did you mention how long you sprouted the chickpeas for?
The chickpeas, they were just sprouted for 2 days. You can sprout them longer. I do use at least 2 lemons, maybe 3. I don't have a measurement right now, so, but it's probably a third of a cup or half a cup at least. But it's really up to your taste. If you want to use a little less.
You get-
That's the risk of your sitting in one row.
That's all the food I get.
You're not fasting, right?
Oh, no, I'm fasting.
I don't want to splash it in your mouth. So then the next ingredient is red bell peppers. They give also a nice flavor. And also they give the color to use. Probably just half of the pepper. I don't want to have it too red. But of course you can use as much as you like. You can also use a yellow bell pepper. So here I use the rest of the celery we have here. Chopped one. And then a little bit more celery. You can really put a lot in. Make a mess here. Okay, so we have the sprouted chickpeas, the sesame seeds, the sunflower, lemon juice, the red bell pepper, and celery. And we start with that first. Okay. Okay, just put it all in the blender and make it creamy. Here is some of this.
Sounds good.
Yeah, pretty good. Of course, if you're a garlic fan, then you can add garlic, anything. I would probably put a little more lemon juice in here, but always have to taste it. I guess for this I should use a bigger spatula.
Dishes and less than
So that's the hummus. But you can increase the flavor. I'm gonna use just one more lemon, I guess. And, I like also a few herbs in here. I don't put the herbs in when I blend that. I mean, you can blend it a little bit short, but still it will maybe discolor the color a little bit. Then you can use your taco shells or you use a little parsley in this. Actually a lot. I do like to use a lot of herbs. They give the flavor, and they're also very healthy. They're so healthy. They have a lot of vitamin K. So what else? Oh, I wasn't even finished with the cracker ideas. Or bread ideas. You can make bread out of cucumbers. You can just have one cucumber. I'll tell you the cucumber bread.
How long do you think that hummus would last in the fridge?
Probably also 3 days. So you have your cucumber bread. not that thin. See, I'm not that afraid doing this with the glove.
See, I get rid of it.
And then you just cut them in little pieces, maybe. You can also use them like this. Carrot sticks and yeah, I think that's really satisfying. Another thing is we could do salsa. Yeah, the cucumber bread you can also do with zucchini. Same thing, and you can try it. And it is very easy, you know? This is your bread. You don't have to eat junk food. And also as a taco shell, instead of the jicama, you can also use just a romaine lettuce and use it as a taco shell. Put some vegetables in, like guacamole. And maybe we can also, I do have a few onions here. So we can do a little salsa as well with the rest of the celery in our chopper. Let's do a salsa real quick. We do love using red bell peppers because they give the color. And some raisins maybe. A little bit sweetness. I don't know if that goes so well because I chop it only. Usually if I use raisins, I want to blend it very fine. Okay, so, and this time I use a little bit chili. You use chili, but you can use any kind of herbs that you want. Use a lot of
Just
chili
that
right
little
now.
bit.
Oh yeah, there was a lot already. That's cayenne pepper,
Oh.
dried. So it's quite spicy. And then this time I use a little bit of the scallions. And okay, let's chop it up. Sorry, a lot of noise. Let's like tomatoes.
Good.
Do you usually put the raisins in? That was really new. That was like to sweeten it.
Yep. Yeah, you can use raisins. Actually, it's not that optimal since I did this in the chopper, because you will have some chunks of raisins in there. But I mean, maybe it's nice. Usually, when I use raisins, I put it in the blender. Really fine, but this time I used the chopper. I haven't even tried that yet. I think that's good enough.
Looks good.
Everything looks good.
Yeah.
On a raw food diet, do you use nutritional yeast at all?
No,
No.
I don't know, but I mean, in the past I used nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast has a lot of glutamate. So yeast in general has a lot of glutamate, and it's just natural. It has a lot of sodium, but there's also research saying that sodium is not that bad. It's the chloride more, the artificial sodium chloride, because of the chloride. Because there are a lot of salts, organic salts, not organic sodium, because sodium is inorganic always. But organic sodium with an organic molecule, and that's not bad for you. So a lot of chemicals in the food have actually sodium. So that's not bad. I don't know. There's just so much research going on. We have some dill here. I don't know. I didn't use dill, but Ramses doesn't like dill. Okay, actually we did everything that we wanted, right? We have like a little brunch. It's a lot of mess here. But that's always. I'm much cleaner when I work at home. But it's always a
Are
mess.
you taking questions now?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so 2 questions. So like walk us through the day in the life of Eve's diet. Like what do you eat every day?
But I eat every day. So I started today with what did I eat? I started very late. Usually I start eating very late. So today I just ate bananas. I ate a really ripe plantain and some dates maybe. And but usually I start with fruits, just simple fruits. Maybe 6 bananas, 2 apples. That would be the amount that I eat.
Just for breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Do you eat early or do you wait till you're hungry?
Yeah, I eat later at noon around. I would probably eat this now. And then I usually have a salad, but I don't really plan it. So if I regularly have fruits and salad, there are days that I'm not really hungry. Then either I do fasting, I don't eat anything, or I just eat a fruit meal once a day. So it depends really. But usually, so normal day is 1 fruit meal, and then it's a salad, a huge salad with maybe hummus and guacamole. This I would eat. I would eat it with much more greens and more cucumbers, and then maybe as a dessert I would eat again fruits, something sweet, and that's pretty much it. And then yeah, we also have these sprouted quinoa. Amaranth. You can use this instead of the oats. Do you want that? Yeah, so we have this oatmeal with fruits. We have the amaranth and quinoa. We have some taco shells and cucumber bread, zucchini bread, and then some carrot crackers. You can also use just celery sticks. I don't have any celery sticks here now. You can also use the red bell pepper as a taco and fill it and eat it. And then we have our tomato salsa and the guacamole with celery and without celery, reduced fat,